The Autistic Voices Project, led by CASDA, was conducted in partnership with Inclusion Canada, funded under the Employment Recovery Project. The Autistic Voices Project was prompted by the need to better understand the impact of COVID-19 on employment experiences amongst autistic Canadians, specifically unique challenges faced and opportunities that may have emerged. The purpose of the Autistic Voices Project is to bring the experiences of autistic Canadians to the forefront and highlight the criticality of their employment-related experiences during COVID-19 through our lived experience testimonial videos. We hope that the experiences of autistic Canadians presented to you in the following videos will be impactful and thought-provoking. Additionally, as a disclaimer, we'd like to recognize that while we did try to obtain a diverse range of responses and participants in our project, there are other diverse voices who should be considered, including those of varying racial and cultural backgrounds, and those who are nonverbal. While we weren't fully able to capture this, their opinions are still salient and should be considered moving forward. We know that the COVID-19 pandemic has altered drastically life for everyone. However, we hope that these lived experience testimonial videos will shed light upon the intensified difficulties faced by autistic Canadians and what we can do moving forward to create autism-confident workplaces in a world beyond COVID-19.
Aussi à faire ma vie parce que j'ai un conjoint, puis j'ai de l'amour autour de moi, beaucoup de gens qui m'ont aidé à réussir. Et j'ai choisi d'avoir une vie aimante. Mais qu'est-ce que je veux dire, c'est que je sais que beaucoup de femmes, si on monoparental, c'est difficile. Donc, j'étais en train de me dire pourquoi pas amener le coaching carrément pour aider des autistes Asperger ou des familles où on s'entend sans être large parce que j'ai la capacité de comportement humain. En fait, je me plais à dire que j'ai l'impression que présentement, tout le monde est à un coup de téléphone à côté de leur téléphone, si on veut, tu sais. Quand j'étais, mettons, je me disais, bon, il faudrait que j'appelle quelqu'un, un client. Il pouvait être n'importe où dans le monde avant, tu sais. Il pouvait être en train de faire du bateau, il pouvait être... Là, j'ai comme l'impression que tout le monde n'est pas loin de leur téléphone. Fait que pour moi, je me dis, tu sais, il y a une facilité mentale à imaginer les gens. Et oui, les gens sont en action. Ceux qui sont bien organisés, comme à l'Université de Trois-Rivières, ils ont décidé de ne pas faire échec ou succès pour les examens, pour les étudiants, mais ils ont décidé d'apporter plus de support. Et ça, je le sens. Moi, j'appelle à l'école, je leur dis quelque chose, tac, il y a des choses qui se passent. Les professeurs et les gens du CEMO.
Whenever I needed assistance from my manager, I sought out help. She's very helpful and very positive and very patient with me.
Compared to other places that I've worked, the people like to meet you beyond halfway. My team is fantastic. The managers are 100% support me in anything that I need done and any supports that I need. They will meet me more than halfway with the social masking, so I don't have to do it as much. But there's still like 30% of it that I have to do with people outside my team that don't know that I'm autistic.
Oh, they help me with some job interviews. They also sit with me and tell me when I do get a job.
My employer was super nice, and he would keep me in the loop of what was going on in the world.
Mother's been really supportive, same with my father. And then I have support workers, and they're really helpful too.
A lot of fantastic supports. I have a therapist that I adore. We have a great relationship, and she's been incredibly supportive. She has adjusted her fees while I've been unemployed so that I'm still able to access counseling throughout the pandemic, which has been, I think, life-saving for me.
When I worked at Canadian Tire, there wasn't really a lot of help. It was more like, do it yourself. If you need some help, they do like a buddy system. And something about that place didn't like give me the feeling kind of like I was really supported.
Yeah, I've had my sister, I reached out to her in April and asked if I could come stay with her because it was getting really hard just doing video calls and not being able to see people in person. It was really hard and it was affecting me since I live alone, and I was really missing the people that I was doing calls with. So she talked to her husband and they let me come stay with them. She came and picked me up so I wasn't taking transit, and she let me come live with her and my nieces. My manager's been talking to me every week. He really makes time. Either if we don't do Zoom, he has lunch with me on his lunch break once a week. He really explains things to me when I have any questions, and we keep in touch over email. He supports me. Like, I've been going on some leaders calls, like a team of district managers or store managers. If it's during a day when I'm working, he just lets me do it. He says, yeah, just let me know the time, and he lets me go off the floor for 10 minutes to go on the call. When I was off, I was being paid like the whole time from March till end of October. I was paid the whole time, even if it was only 75% of the pay.
I have felt absolutely supported through COVID-19. And my family also looked out for me and tried to find me little opportunities to make a little bit of money, such as I painted over half the fence in my family's backyard that needed a paint job to earn a little bit of money. I also was asked to try to do some mentoring for my middle sister, Ashley, who's also diagnosed on the autism spectrum, and her fiance, Zach. With my current full-time job, we're always asked how we're feeling during the social times that we have allotted for us, including a remote team lunch bunch that we do over Teams. And there also, in the past couple of months, there was a tea party social that was also done where for 1 hour you had the opportunity to talk about how everything's going on in your life, not just work-wise, but also in your personal life too.
There's my mother who helps me with reviewing resumes, preparing for interviews, etc. Then there's the Level It Up campaign, which has been a major help. They've helped me kind of consolidate my skill sets, learn some new skills, and have helped me find potential jobs to apply for.
My supervisor has told me if I'm working on something and get stuck, just to send her an email. My mom has been really good because she knows about how anxious the pandemic makes me. And so if I have an anxiety meltdown, she'll give me a hug and start making a list with me about all the things we're doing to keep safe. And she doesn't think any less of me for being anxious.
My mom, my brother, and my sister, they look out for me. And a lot of things where I think other people in my situation would be struggling, I have been fortunate enough that they've been able to help me. My family wasn't shy about taking a look at my resume when I asked them. They gave me the moral support. When I've had doubt in myself, they've had belief in me and helped me get through things. Like I said, they've given me rides to work instead of having me take the bus because they're worried about me. So I feel very blessed in that aspect.
My family has been a good support for me.
Luckily, I got an APSW in January, so I've had the supports this year that I didn't have prior to the pandemic. So my worker has been great for talking stuff over when I really don't want to discuss things with family members. And church community has been really great in providing connection times. I have done relatively well because of the connections I've had that have kept me sane during the pandemic.
The person that I work for has a lot of things related to employment stuff or just fun stuff that we can do on Zoom, so we can sort of see people remotely because you can't see this person because they still work at the battle center. So every day they sort of check up on you. And even, I'd say, if you have any questions, any issues, you can still email them and they'll still be willing to chat with you one-on-one if need be.
Yeah, my family has been more than supportive, and so has my aunt because she helped me pay for a career counselor with Career Joy, who has been very, very helpful.
A group called Aptus. I have a job coach there. She went with me to the interview and kind of waited for me outside because I could do it on my own. It's just the TC part where I was nervous.
During the pandemic, I recently discovered a kind of like a mentor ability program. Individuals with disabilities or developmental or intellectual disabilities, which I self-identify as, they just get a chance to meet with an employer that participates in that program and get coached through interviews, resumes, and so forth.
I think that the most helpful thing that she taught me today was that, so I had always sort of thought that it was a bad idea to pursue any education without having a plan for what you want to do with it on the other side. That would just be wasteful. But she kind of made a really good point that you have to kind of get that experience and meet people who are doing the same thing to even know what all the opportunities are out there and to sort of learn what you like and dislike.
I did have like some meetings with some companies that I'm associated with that help people with autism or on the spectrum with employment. If I get an interview, they say, do your best, stay calm, think about like what you might ask and how you would respond, like try not to be nervous.
Passport friendly, allowed people to get computers, iPads, different other electronic equipment. They had made all that possible during this pandemic. Before COVID, none of that was allowed.
We always talk about the basics, such as how to prepare for an interview, how to write a proper resume and cover letter. Back in college, I had a subject called business communication, like how to dress for success, how to talk properly in a professional manner with your colleagues and bosses. Also, not only we talked about things related to work, but in the job club, we talked about things that could impact our personal life, such as relationships, the issue of workplace bullying, something like that.
There's one called CCRW, and I worked with the St. John branch, and they helped me finally get the job at the laundromat.
My autistic coworker has regular Zoom meetings with Starbucks management, and my managers have made it clear to me that if I wanted the same thing, I could go for it. Basically, as long as I have written instructions, I'm fine. And the atmosphere of the cafe is fine. Like, everything's fine. I don't need that much connection. I spend a fair chunk of my time doing introvert things anyway, so I'm kind of good to go on that front.